Folks.
Where's your mouse?
My what?
Your mouse. Oh,
My mouse? Oh, here it is. For some strange reason. Oh.
clear that.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessing upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened and got shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
My
morning. My
friends.
friends.
Sing Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
In the sanctuary of our Lord's protection, and the stronghold of our Lord's defense. With the Lord of spirits are illumined as we glorify His name. Our hearts are blessed. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My friends.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My friends. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We changed that. I'm glad it changed.
No, that's fine.
Our view on the Zoom just changed. Good morning, everyone out there in Facebook land. I hope everyone is doing well today. Hello, Farah. This is in the Zoom, and Janet and Alex and Andy and Candice And Jeremiah, our technical guru, is joining us at this point. How you doing, Daryl?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right? I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm doing okay. I did notice you had a little bit of a throat thing going on there.
Yeah,
And normally I have a glass of water for you.
that's okay.
Well, no
I'm
water
good.
for you today. You don't get any. Now, once
I'm
we once we get into the reading, I'll jump up and get you a glass of water. I'm sorry about that. It totally slipped my mind.
No problem.
But let's start, as always, with a prayer. And you know what? That's not the prayer that I had chosen. And so we're gonna, yes, this is a good way to start. Glory be to thee, O Lord, my God. Make manifest the rivers of thy sovereign might, that the waters of thy unity may flow through the inmost realities of all things, in such wise that the banner of thine unfailing guidance may be raised aloft in the kingdom of thy command, and the stars of thy divine splendor may shine brightly in the heaven of thy majesty. Potent art thou to do what pleaseth thee. Thou verily art the help in peril, the self-subsisting. And this is a prayer by Baha'u'llah. And, as you know, Daryl, last week, well, let's go ahead and say what we always say. As always, we today are continuing with our reading of The Advent of Divine Justice by Shoghi Effendi. And I just thought, last week when we were about to finish, the question was asked, who is Shoghi Effendi?
Right.
We just talked about him like everybody knows who Shoghi Effendi was, and we did the same thing with Abdul Baha and Baha'u'llah. Now, I thought it would be a good idea for those people who might not be familiar with the name of Shoghi Effendi or Abdul Baha until they started, learning about the Baha'i writings and so forth. It might be a good idea to put a picture with the name, Put
Sure.
a picture with the name. And so I went ahead and I printed one out. Yeah, anyone can Google Shoghi Effendi, anyone can Google Abdul Baha, but it's my own assumption that a lot of people, probably wouldn't do that. So I just want to show you a picture. These are real people, or were real people. They really did exist. And Baha'u'llah, we do not show pictures of Baha'u'llah. We cannot possess, are not supposed to possess pictures of Baha'u'llah. We're not supposed to be showing any graphic representation of Baha'u'llah. But Abdul Baha and Shoghi Effendi, that's approved. So I just want to show this picture to anyone who's wondering, who are these people? The older gentleman there, first let me show it in the Zoom, is obviously, this was at an advanced age, Abdul Baha. And the younger gentleman there is his grandson, Shoghi Effendi. Abdul Baha, as we pointed out last week, let me show it over here in Facebook. As we pointed out last week, Abdul Baha was given the task of guiding the faith given the task of guiding the faith by Baha'u'llah, preparing for his transitioning, of course, into the next realm. And Abdul Baha did the same thing with Shoghi Effendi.
Right.
Appointed him to guide the faith, and now the faith is being guided by the Universal House of Justice. So it would be a good idea to, kind of just let people see who are these. Again, something about making something visual, I think, helps a lot.
Sure.
So now that we got that little bit of business out of the way, what are we doing today, there?
Well, we are talking about the most challenging issue. This is, and from Shoghi Effendi's standpoint, this is the issue of racism. And he starts talking here about freedom from racial prejudice in any of its forms should, at such a time as this, when an increasingly large section of the human race is falling victim to its devastating ferocity, be adopted as the watchword for the entire body of the American believers, in whichever state they reside, in whatever circles they move, whatever their age, traditions, tastes, and habits. It should be consistently demonstrated in every phase of their activity in life, whether in the Baha'i community or outside, it in public or in private, formally as well as informally, individually as well as in their official capacity as organized groups, committees, and assemblies. It should be deliberately cultivated through the various and everyday opportunities, no matter how insignificant, that present themselves, whether in their homes, their business offices, their schools and colleges, their social parties and recreation grounds, their Baha'i meetings, conferences, conventions, summer schools, and assemblies. It should, above all else, become the keynote of the policy of that august body, which in its capacity as the national representative and director and coordinator of the affairs of the community must set the example and facilitate the application of such a vital principle to the lives and activities of those whose interests it safeguards and represents.
I gotta stop you there, Daryl.
Let me go back to the beginning.
Okay, maybe I don't need to stop you there.
The beginning of this says freedom from racial prejudice. And he covers all of those areas where he talks about the freedom of racial prejudice. And it should be pervasive throughout all aspects of our lives.
Yes.
We should be free of racial prejudice.
That, you know, and the fact that he, you know, I was just saying before we actually came on that, you know, that I'm kind of getting used to Shoghi Effendi's use of language. And this is one of those cases where it's like he says it, but then he says in certain ways, in case you don't get it,
Right.
in case you don't get it, you know, there are no areas of your life where there is an exception
Exactly.
to this. This thing, this principle from racial prejudice, and you need to work hard to obliterate from every corner of your lives.
Absolutely.
And he again leaves an exception to that. Now, again, I'll say this. I remember in my earlier days.
Excuse me.
In my earlier days of reading the Baha'i scriptures, I'll admit a lot of the principles of the faith, they kind of sound like, you know, social issues and social programs to, you know, improve. I don't know, just the everyday, the quality of life for people, and it almost seems, in my mind, to take it down a level as far as the fact that this is still, I mean, it's important,
Right.
but I mean, it almost seems to take it down a level as if the source is a lot of people that got together and sat around tables in offices and decided, well, these are some good ideas. This is what we should do. But that is not the case.
Not at all.
This is coming from God. And I have said on more than one occasion, not in here, but if they sound like good ideas, it's because they're God's ideas. And so in this next paragraph that Daryl's about to read, Shoghi Effendi refers to Baha'u'llah, manifestation of God. And this is what he says.
O ye discerning ones, Baha'u'llah has written, verily the words which have descended from the heaven of the will of God are the source of unity and harmony for the world. Close your eyes to racial differences and welcome with the light of oneness, and welcome all with the light of oneness. We desire but the good of the world and the happiness of the nations. He proclaims that all nations should become as one in faith and all men as brothers. All nations should become as one in faith and all men as brothers. That the bonds of affection and unity between the sons of men should be strengthened, that diversity of religions should cease, and differences of race be annulled. Baha'u'llah has said, writes Abdul Baha, that the various races of humankind lend a composite harmony and beauty of color to the whole. Let all associate, therefore, in this great human garden, even as flowers grow and blend together side by side, without discord or disagreement between them. Baha'u'llah Abdul-Baha, moreover, has said, once compared the color people to the black pupil of the eye, surrounded by the white. In this black pupil is seen the reflection of that which is before it, and through it, the light of the Spirit shineth forth. I'm going to repeat that again. Baha'u'llah Abdul-Baha, moreover, has said, once compared the colored people to the black pupil of the eye, surrounded by the white. And this black pupil is seen the reflection of that which is before it. And through it, the light of the Spirit shineth forth.
You're pausing there.
I'm pausing,
Why
but
are you pausing?
just long enough to swallow.
I thought it was because this is such a deep concept.
Well, that's part of it.
And we certainly don't make light of it. We don't. But I think we overlook the importance of it. We don't make light of it. We're not joking about it. But I think we don't and we know it's important, but we don't recognize the utmost importance that has been laid upon this whole idea of ridding ourselves of racial prejudice. And how, of course, I mean, I know you read all of that before, but I mean, I'm going to go all the way back to where, to talk about the source. Again, oh, you discerning ones, but how Allah has written. Verily, the words which have descended from the heaven of the will of God are the source of unity and harmony for the world. And in the very next sentence, close your eyes to racial differences and welcome all with the light of oneness. And of course, he expounds upon that even more throughout the writing. But it's just that we understand it on some level, but we don't understand the significance of it. I think we miss it, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself. But we often say this was written in 1938, and here we are in 1922.
2022.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yes, I've gotten in a time machine. We're going back in time. But yeah, 2022, and still. There seems to be a significant part of the human race that either doesn't get it or doesn't care to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
God, Abdul-Baha himself declares, maketh no distinction between the white and the black. If the hearts are pure, both are acceptable unto him. God is no respecter of persons on account of either color or race. God is no respecter of persons on account of either color or race. All colors are acceptable unto him, be they white, black, yellow, inasmuch as all are created in the image of God. We must bring ourselves to realize that all embody divine possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
All embody divine possibilities.
Yes.
In the estimation of God, he states, all men are equal. There is no distinction or preference for any soul in the realm of his justice and equity. God did not make these distinctions, he affirms. These divisions have had their origin in man himself. God didn't make the distinctions, man made the distinctions. Therefore, as they are against the plan and purpose of God, they are false and imaginary. Wow. In the estimation of God, he again affirms, there is no distinction of color. All are one in color and beauty of servitude to him. Color is not important. The heart is all important. It mattereth not what the exterior may be if the heart is pure and white within. God does not behold differences of hue and complexion. He looketh at the heart. He whose morals and virtues are praiseworthy is preferred in the presence of God. He who is devoted to the kingdom is most beloved. In the realm of Genesis and creation, the question of color is of least importance. Throughout the animal kingdom, he explains, we do not find creatures separated because of color. They recognize the unity of species and oneness of kind. If we do not find color distinction drawn in a kingdom of lower intelligence and reason, how can it be justified amongst human beings, especially when we know that all have come from the same source and belong to the same household? In origin and intention of creation, mankind is one. In origin and intention of creation, mankind is one. Distinctions of race and color have arisen afterwards. Man is endowed with superior reasoning power and the faculty of perception, he further explains. He is the manifestation of divine bestowals. Shall racial ideas prevail and obscure the creative purpose of unity in his kingdom? One of the important questions, he significantly remarks, which affect the unity and the solidarity of mankind is the fellowship and equality of the white and colored races. Between these two races, certain points of agreement and points of distinction exist, which warrant just and mutual considerations. The points of contact are many. In this country, the United States of America, patriotism is common to both races. All have equal rights to citizenship, speak one language, receive the blessings of the same civilization, and follow the precepts of the same religion. In fact, numerous points of partnership and agreement exist between the two races, whereas the one point of distinction is that of color. Shall this, the least of all distinctions, be allowed to separate you as races and individuals? This variety in forms and coloring, he stresses, which is manifest in all kingdoms, is according to the creative wisdom and has a divine purpose. The diversity of the human family, he claims, should be the cause of love and harmony, as it is in music, wherefore many different notes blend together in the making of a perfect chord. If you meet is his admonition, those of a different race and color from yourself, do not mistrust them and withdraw yourself into your shell of conventionality, but rather be glad and show them kindness.
Okay, I gotta stop you there, Daryl. You read a lot.
Yes.
And I gotta tell you, I've seen so many things that you have read that I want to just make, oh, that's a poster. Oh, that's a billboard. That's something that everyone should be seeing, and it's all in the space of a page. And it's not something that, having read it, it's not something that has to be fleshed out. I mean, you can, let's face it, it's pretty clear.
Absolutely.
It's pretty clear. And I gotta tell you, I'll go ahead and go get personal here. As an African-American, having experienced everything that Abdul Baha is talking about here, that's one of the things that made me start looking deeper into the writings of Baha'u'llah. And maybe I was already looking, but at least accepting the validity. And I would even dare say the fact that this to me sounds like this is coming from not just a whole bunch of smart or even wise people. This is coming from God. And this is based on the word of God. I mean, for him to point out, when you were reading about patriotism, I think about how many times are we going around and we see flags everywhere. Not a bad thing. But he said in this country, the United States of America, patriotism is common to both races. All have equal rights to citizenship, speak one language, receive the blessings of the same civilization, follow the precepts of the same religion. And he goes on, and he talks about the one point of distinction, is color. Just one point. And then he asked that question, shall this, the least of all distinctions, be allowed to separate you as races and individuals? Now, we can see that there are some people that seem to be, just in the way they're living their lives, seem to be kind of finally wrapping their brains, or have wrapped their brains and their hearts around this concept. But we also have to admit that there are plenty that obviously still have not.
Right.
And we're still struggling with this issue. So I just, I don't know. I got to tell you, when I read this, I don't know, it gives me chills. If there's some such thing in the Baha'i faith as getting the spirit,
Yeah.
I'm having to contain myself right now. I'm very serious, because I read this and I think, God gets it. They get it. We have to help other people get it.
That's
it's
right.
Here. It's right here. It's not something that has to be put together like a puzzle. It is crystal clear. It is stated so clearly.
In the world of being, he testifies, the meeting is blessed when the white and colored races meet together with infinite spiritual love and heavenly harmony. When such meetings are established and the participants associate with each other with perfect love, unity, and kindness, the angels of the kingdom praise them, and the beauty of Baha'u'llah addresseth them. Blessed are ye, when a gathering of these two races is brought about. He likewise asserts that the assemblage will become the magnet of the concourse on high, and the confirmation of the blessed beauty will surround it. Strive earnestly, he again exhorts both races, to put forth your greatest endeavor toward the accomplishment of this fellowship and the cementing of this bond of brotherhood between you. Such an attainment is not possible without the will and effort on the part of each, from one, expressions of gratitude and appreciations, from the other, kindliness and recognition of equality. That's saying it's not the responsibility of one race, it is the responsibility of all the races.
Yes.
To make this happen.
Yes.
Each one, and when it does happen, the concourse on high is blessing that meeting, that association. Each one should endeavor to develop and assist the other toward mutual advancement. Advancement. Love and unity will be fostered between you, thereby bringing about the oneness of mankind. For the accomplishment of unity between the colored and the white will be an assurance of the world's peace. I hope he thus addresses members of the white race, that ye may cause that downtrodden race to become glorious and to be joined with the white race to serve the world of man with the utmost sincerity, faithfulness, love, and purity. This opposition, enmity, and prejudice among the white race and the colored cannot be effaced except through faith, assurance, and the teachings of the blessed beauty. This question of the union of the white race and the black is very important, he warns, for if it is not realized, ere long, great difficulties will arise and harmful results will follow. If this matter remaineth without change, is yet another warning, enmity will be increased day by day, and the final result will be hardship and may end in bloodshed. Whoa. Whoa. And it's not like we haven't seen that happen.
Yeah.
We see that happen, or we see it happen all too often, even though this was written in 1938.
Yeah. And when you think about it, what is actually here was actually written before them, because Shoghi Effendi is quoting Abdul-Baha. So
Absolutely.
even before the time that this was written. But still, I'm sure in that same general era. But I'm sure this was when Abdul-Baha came to America, which was
That's
about
right.
1920.
1912.
Oh, 19, okay.
19.
But, I mean, again, this question of the union of the white and the black is very important. He warns, for if it is not realized, ere long, before you know it, before too long, great difficulties will arise and harmful results will follow. And I actually meant to begin before that, because it says, this opposition, enmity, and prejudice among the white race and the colored cannot be effaced except through faith, assurance, and the teachings of the blessed beauty. The blessed beauty is Allah. Why are you holding your instrument there, Daryl?
I'm holding my instrument because we're going to do a song.
As you can see, I kept leaving. I couldn't decide on what to do, so I made a decision.
Go for it.
I'm not hearing anything. Hang on, did I turn it down? There we go. Let all associate their pull in this great human garden. Even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. Let all associate their all in this great human garden. Even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side. Love ye all religions and all races with a love that is true, true and sincere, and show that love through deeds, and show that love. Love ye all religions and all races with a love that is true, true and sincere, and show that love through deeds, and show that love. Let all associate their pull in this great human garden. Even as flowers grow and blend together, side by side.
Okay.
Keep reading.
So why don't you read it?
No, I
out
can't
there?
read right now. I can't read right. Okay, I'll read. It is past.
Okay.
I don't remember where we left off.
A tremendous
Okay.
effort.
I'll say this. Read it. I thought it was gone.
A tremendous effort is required by both races if their outlook, their numbers, and conduct
The manners.
are to reflect in this darkened age the spirit and teachings of the faith of Baha'u'llah, casting away once and for all the fallacious doctrine of racial superiority with all its with all its attendant evils, confusion and miseries, and welcome and encouraging the intermixture of races and tearing down the barriers that now divide them. They should each endeavor day and night to fulfill their particular responsibilities in the common task which so urgently faces them. Let them, while each is attempting to contribute its share to the solution of this perplexing problem, call to mind the warnings of Abdul Baha and visualize, while there is yet time, the dire consequences that must follow if this challenging and unhappy situation that faces the entire American nation is not definitely remedied.
That's like show you things said, y'all better listen.
Yeah.
Y'all better listen. Let them, while each is attempting to contribute its share to the solution of this perplexing problem, let them call to mind the warnings of Abdul Baha and visualize. I mean, you have to see it while there is still time. Visualize the dire consequences that must follow if this challenging and unhappy situation that faces the entire American nation is not definitely remedied. And the frightening thing is, you might not have to visualize.
We are witness
Yeah.
to the dire consequences.
We're seeing it. We've been warned.
Absolutely.
We've been given the remedy, and still not enough people. And it's sad that often people who refuse to accept the importance of this, whether they've heard it or not, sometimes they're people with a lot of power.
That's right.
That can influence the masses. And that speaks to the importance of this. I mean, there's still that ongoing attempt at keeping the races separate, or having some I don't know, almost, okay, we'll do it a little bit, but not enough, some almost insignificant, something that masquerades as unity rather than true unity. It's,
well, there's never been a time in our history when we need to pay more attention to this, because in this day, we stand on the precipice of civil war.
Exactly.
And not just in this country, but almost worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's because of the influence of certain individuals that won't let it go, that won't subscribe to these words. So
and I don't know. I have a sense of joy knowing that it's here.
Mm-hmm.
And a sense of sadness knowing that for many people, it's just here.
Right.
It's just words in a book.
Right.
It's not something that we need to work fervently at truly applying and using it as, absolute foundational principles by which we live our lives. And that's what we're told to do here. And I guess that's why we, as Baha'is, because let's face it, we need to remember, this is being addressed to American Baha'is.
That's right.
And this is why we as Baha'is have to get this out there and speak to as many people, and just keep teaching the words of Baha'u'llah, keep teaching this faith because, I think sometimes we, and when I say we, I mean humanity, we trivialize religion. Even those of us that follow it, we often trivialize it. We go through the motions, or we might read the text, or we may go to meetings and so forth. But this is saying, yeah, that's not it. That's
Well,
not
we're called upon to be the example.
Yeah,
And as the example, we have to, if we don't set the bar, well, the bar's already been established. If we don't toe the line, so to speak,
exactly.
then the outcome, we all know, will and can be catastrophic.
Exactly.
So-
And we're in frightening times right now. I want to say thank you for recommending me read this book, because I mean, it's been a while now, and I know we have already talked about that, but the more I read it, the more I know. It's not as if I need reminders that this is
Here
God's
it
word
is,
for
that's
today.
right.
But sometimes I do think I need a reminder to just, it's God's word for today. But to so much of a farther extent, and I think probably a reminder to the true practical relevance
Right.
of this word, of these words from the Bab, Baha'u'llah, Abdul Baha, Shoki Effendi. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here. And the more people we can get to come and listen and apply, because it's all about application, maybe we can help the world turn the tide and really, go
To
about
peace.
establishing
Right.
the kingdom of God on earth, which is what we believe Baha'u'llah came to do.
So, Kambiz, are you ready to bless us with our Kambiz moment here?
That's right. It is that time. So anyone else who wants to share a prayer?
Sure.
with us? And Andy, if Andy has-
I have the verses.
And anyone else who would like to share a prayer with us after they've blessed us with that, so that we change our view here.
There is a song that play in the World Congress.
Kambiz, we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear him.
Yeah, we hear you, Kambiz.
I can hear him.
Okay.
Hear you too.
It says that, O thou, the glory of glorious, O thou, the highest of the high. This is the song played in the World
I'm
Congress,
sorry.
and this is how it goes.
Can hear you, Kambiz. What's it say?
Can anyone else hear Kambiz?
Yeah, I heard him very well.
We can all hear Kambiz just fine.
Yeah,
That's a bad sign. We're not
Tony,
hearing it.
you're the only
It
one
must
that's
be
not
us.
getting it through your
I
monitor.
know that it's.
I don't know what's going on. Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yes.
Can you hear us, Andy?
yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so they can hear us.
Well, they can't hear us.
Yes.
Okay. Not been hijacked. I mean, they're not turned on. We don't know why we're not hearing anyone else.
Can you
all
hear
can
me?
us, but we can't hear anyone.
Can you hear me?
Mm-mm.
We can hear you, Andy.
Okay.
Okay.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come round where we ought to be. And when we're in a place that is right, to be in the valley of love and divine. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Thank you, Andy. I don't know if we can hear anyone as of yet. We have muted. Well, apparently not. We still can't hear anyone. Is there anyone else who would like to share a prayer? As long as you all can hear each other, you know, then they're still worth sharing prayers. It's simply that we can't hear.
Okay, should we move on to the
Oh, I guess we should go ahead and
final song?
Okay. Well, we can't move on to the final song yet. There are a couple of things we have to do. We have to remind people that this is a joint effort by several communities here, primarily in the Tampa Bay area, and there are people that actually do join us from outside the area. If you are someone who is coming through Facebook and you would like to join us in the Zoom, you can go to
www.clearwaterbahais.org. There are other official sites where if you need to or would like to learn more about the Baha'i faith, you can go to www.baha'i.us, or you can go to www.bahaiteachings.org, or you can just go to www.baha'i.org.
Yes, and since we are running out of time here, again, we're having some technical difficulties here, some issues. But Daryl, I never like to leave without you telling people what they need to do.
What they need to do.
What they should do.
Well, what I will tell you is that if you do nothing else over the next day, month, week, year, if you do nothing else, the one thing that you can do to enrich your life and the lives of everyone that you come in contact with, the one thing you can do is to share the love. You have no idea what a difference it'll make in your life.
Absolutely. furnace of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth. Whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin, we beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surrounded you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, 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 Have a good week, folks. Take care.
Thank you all for joining us.
Hopefully by next week, we'll be hearing you.
I think, Tony, there
We
is,
don't know what happened there.
in the chat room, the lady
Still not hearing
asking you,
I don't know what's going on, but it's obviously not, I'm sure, maybe it's here, maybe it's there, but obviously, there's an issue, and I don't think it's down here.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, we don't know what it is, but anyway, have a good week, and thanks for being with us and sharing this time. And, hope to see you next week. And the same thing to you folks out there in the Facebook.
Take care.
In the Facebook land.